The story of the Great Flood is one of the most famous tales in history. But the version most of us know is missing its most terrifying chapters. We're told God sent the flood because humans were wicked, but ancient, forbidden texts like the Book of Enoch reveal a much darker reality. The flood wasn't just about human sin. It was a desperate, scorched earth response to a cosmic invasion. It was a war against a biological and spiritual infection that had pushed creation to the brink of extinction. This is the story of the binding of the 200, the secrets of Mount Hermon, and the prophecy that these ancient entities are stirring once again. The tragedy began not on Earth, but in the higher realms. According to these forbidden chronicles, a group of 200 high-ranking angels known as the Watchers were assigned to observe and guide humanity. They were the eyes of heaven, meant to protect the innocent. But as they peered through the veil between worlds, they became obsessed with the daughters of men. Their leader, a powerful angel named Semyaza, knew that what they were contemplating was a transgression so severe it would change the universe forever. He stood before his brethren on the snowy peak of Mount Hermon and confessed his fear. He feared he alone would be held responsible for this great sin if the others lost their nerve. But his fear was met with defiance. In a move that sealed their fate, the 200 angels swore a blood oath. They bound themselves to one another with mutual curses, vowing they would go through with the plan together, sharing the guilt and the consequences. They descended upon Mount Hermon, shedding their celestial forms to take on the likeness of men. This was the first incursion. They didn't just come to exist among us. They came to rule and to recreate the world in their own twisted image. As they took human wives, they began to release forbidden knowledge, secrets humanity was never meant to possess. This wasn't just basic wisdom. It was a rapid acceleration of technology and occultism that outpaced human morality. An angel named Azazel taught men how to forge swords, knives, and shields, introducing the concept of total warfare. He taught women the art of beautifying the eyelids and the use of precious stones and dyes, which the ancient texts claim led to an explosion of vanity and deception. Other Watchers taught the cutting of roots, the origins of dark chemistry and sorcery. They taught astrology, the movement of the stars, and the signs of the earth. Within a single generation, the simplicity of human life was replaced by a sophisticated, violent, and occult-driven civilization. But the worst consequence of this forbidden union was the birth of their offspring, the Nephilim. These were the hybrid children of the Watchers and human women, monstrous beings of unnatural size, strength, and intellect. The ancient records describe them as titans who quickly exhausted the resources of the planet. When the crops failed to feed them, the Nephilim turned their hunger toward humanity itself. They became cannibals, devouring human flesh and drinking blood. The texts describe a world of unimaginable horror where humans were hunted like animals. Even more disturbing, they suggest the giants began to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish. This is often interpreted as an ancient form of genetic manipulation, a desperate attempt to crossbreed species and create a world of chimeras and abominations. The earth was no longer the world God had created. It was a laboratory of horrors, a corrupted planet ruled by bloodthirsty giants. The cries of the dying reached the highest heavens. 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, looked down from their posts and saw the earth covered in blood and lawlessness. They approached the Creator with a plea for justice, and the response was the first great war of the cosmos. This was not a war of words, but a physical and spiritual cleansing. Gabriel was sent not to fight the giants directly, but to incite them into a civil war. He turned the Nephilim clans against one another until they had wiped themselves out. The Watchers were forced to stand by, bound in invisible chains, and watch as their beloved, monstrous children slaughtered each other in a final apocalyptic battle. Then came the divine arrest. The Archangel Raphael was commanded to bind the Watcher Azazel, the one who brought war and vanity to the world hand and foot, and cast him into a jagged pit in the desert of Dudale. The texts say he was covered with sharp rocks and total darkness to remain there until the day of final judgment. The Archangel Michael was sent to deal with Semyaza and the rest of the 200. After witnessing the death of their offspring, these once mighty celestial beings were bound in everlasting chains beneath the very hills where they had committed their crimes. The Book of Enoch states they were to remain there for 70 generations, a sentence with an expiration date. And this brings us to the most controversial part of the forbidden story. If you track the chronology of the 70 generations mentioned in the texts, many scholars and researchers believe that the sentence of the Watchers is coming to an end in our modern era. This isn't just some fringe idea. The Bible itself, in the books of Jude and 2 Peter, confirms the existence of these imprisoned angels, noting that they are being kept in gloomy dungeons or chains of darkness, awaiting the great day of judgment. The prophecy isn't that they will stay there forever, but that they will be held there until that day comes. Jesus famously warned his followers that, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the coming of the Son of Man. For centuries, people thought this just meant that the world would be bad or sinful. But in the context of the Forbidden's history, this warning is much more specific and terrifying. To be like the days of Noah means the return of the Watcher's influence. It means a world once again obsessed with Forbidden's knowledge. Look around at our modern world. We are currently witnessing a technological explosion that feels eerily similar to the ancient descriptions. We are delving into the cutting of roots through advanced gene editing and CRISPR technology, literally rewriting the code of life. We are blurring the lines between human and machine through artificial intelligence, creating minds that operate outside of human morality. We are once again obsessed with the stars and the signs of the heavens, pouring billions into exploring other worlds and searching for extraterrestrial life. Some believe that the shades of the dead giants, the disembodied spirits known as demons, are the ones whispering these secrets into the ears of our modern architects and scientists, just as their fathers did on Mount Hermon. The story of the Nephilim and the Watchers isn't just a dusty myth about giants in the sand. It is a chronicle of a war for the very definition of what it means to be human. The Great Flood was a temporary barrier, a pause in a conflict that has spanned millennia. The Forbidden's texts suggest that the entities who were buried under the earth are beginning to stir. Their chains are thinning, and their ancient agenda, the total corruption of the human image, is being uploaded into our modern world. We were taught that the flood was the end of the story, but the ancient clues tell us it was only a strategic retreat. The real war never ended, it just went cold. If the days of Noah are truly returning, then the war for humanity's DNA is entering its final decisive hour. The question isn't whether the giants existed. The question is whether we are ready for what happens when the 70 generations are up and the gates of the abyss are opened once again. Thank you for watching, and if you want to explore more hidden histories, be sure to subscribe.